What movie/game got terrible reviews but you love it anyway? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was basically the Avengers of classical literature. I thought it was a highly praised movie until I grew older and realized either no one had heard about it or they hated it. Man, I loved Dorian Gray in that movie. All these comments and nobody mentions The Road to El Dorado? Critics despised it when it came out, but it's always had a soft spot for me. Tulio and Miguel are a power duo and the music in the movie slaps. The best modern review I've read of the movie is it's like if the party's Rogue and Bard left and had their own side adventure during the campaign. That really surprised me that critics didn't like it. I thought just about everything about it was at least above average. Music, visuals, story, script, etc. Isn't King actually a bit of a step down from God? You fight like my sister. I fought your sister. That's a compliment. I didn't know until recently that A Knight's Tale got bad reviews. I love every bit of that movie. Say what? That movie was awesome. Pretty sure I watched it every single time it came in TV. Honestly, my favorite movie. I get a lot of flack for being a movie buff and having A Knight's Tale as my fave. Twister, 1996. I'm into meteorology, and this movie is the greatest film about tornadoes ever made. It only has a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes, however. I guess you could say it's because a lot of people really aren't interested into meteorology and storm chasing as some are, like me, so they found this movie to be a waste of time. It really isn't. It has a great storyline and graphics, and great actors. Rip Bill Paxton. Living in rural Kansas, Twister terrified me as a child. And you better believe it was on TV at least 4 times every tornado season. Wow, I never knew this movie was ranked so low. It is an awesome flick. Treasure Planet. It's even dubbed as Disney's biggest mistake. But it's enjoyable to watch and I really loved it as a kid. I thought Home on the Range was considered Disney's worst. I love Treasure Planet so much. You got the makings of greatness in you, but you gotta take the helm and chart your own course. Stick to it, no matter the squalls. And when the time comes, you'll get the chance to really test the cut of your sails and show what you're made of. And, well, I hope I'm there, catching some of the light coming off you that day. Starship Troopers. Demolition Man. This and Fifth Element are my go-to films if I need a pick-me-up. Who the fuck says Demolition Man is a horrible movie? Campy? Yes. Bizarre, nonsensical plot? Yes. Outright weird? Definitely. Enjoyable from start to finish? 100%. Robin Hood, Men in Tights. one of the few Robin Hood films where Robin Hood has an English accent, smiley face, absolutely brilliant. One of my all-time faves. Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny. I was blown away when I looked this movie up for the first time and saw the horrible ratings. Oh man, I watched a Jack Black Reflects of his most popular roles type video, and when Pick of Destiny came up he said this: "We put our hearts and souls into that film and at the end no one went to see it. But even now, when we play the songs from the film everybody sings along and everybody knows all the lyrics. It really shows you that if you truly pour your everything into something and put it out there, it will find an audience in the end." A long ass fucking time ago in a town called Kickapoo. National Treasure. My husband mocks me every chance he gets because it's always on TNT/Teebs. But, my god, I feel like a patriot watching Nicky Cage solve a series of riddles and clues, each more complicated than the last. Definitely one of my top dumb movies. My tax dollars at work coming to arrest me in the second film is still a golden cheese line. The original Pokemon movies, Mewtwo Strikes Back, Pokemon 2000, etc., have average or terrible reviews, but I'm sure as hell I'm not alone in thinking they were childhood-defining experiences. I watched the Darkrai one in college because a friend was horrified that I'd never seen a Pokemon movie before. I was actually kind of impressed. Fucking Mewtwo 1 got fooked by 4 kids back in the day. They were trying their best to make a movie with themes and shit, and then 4 kids decided the theme should be that Pokemon shouldn't fight each other. Eurotrip, critics thought is sucked but a fun movie. Scotty doesn't know. That movie is so amazingly quotable. Oh. Here's a fun fact, you made out with your sister, man. Loved Matt Damon in that part. Atlantis, cool Disney movie without any fucking songs, thank God, but is hated and I don't know why. Shame it didn't continue like it was meant to. For those who don't know, there was going to be a Team Atlantis series where the team would go around exploring legends of history. When this was cancelled, the 3 finished episodes were Frankenstein together to make the second movie, which is why that movie had 3 distinct settings and felt more like Scooby-Doo, Atlantis Edition than an actual sequel to the first movie. I thought people loved that movie. Hell, the cast includes Michael J. Fox and Leonard Nimoy. Hot Rod is a masterpiece of extremely stupid comedy that doesn't assume the viewer is stupid. Critics just can't appreciate the style. I would say Sonic Heroes for game, but it somehow got a 74% on Metacritic. It's my favorite game of all time, but it also didn't really deserve more than 55%. Edit, I like how no one has disputed that Sonic Heroes got higher reviews than it deserved. That scene in Hot Rod where he tumbles down in the forest for a whole minute gets me every time. Cool beans. Also, Bill Hader's LSD-induced accident. John Carter of Mars. Great movie. I think it was just titled John Carter in my country though, title didn't grab attention. John Wick had the same problem until literally everybody started talking about it. That action scene is like stupid cool. Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Kinda hot in these rhinos. Like a Glove is one of the all-time classic one-liners in cinema as far as I'm concerned. Fucking loved it after that ridiculous rollover sequence. The A-Team movie. I never watched the show as a kid, but my spouse did and convinced me to watch it. Absolutely hilarious and I will watch it anytime I see it on TV. I'm still crushed they cancelled the sequel. The tank scene is probably one of the best movie scenes of all time, and if I'm not mistaken some scientists actually proved it was possible to do as well. It's one of those action movies that's just all around fun from start to finish. Such a great cast. The Day After Tomorrow. It is such a stupid movie and the Hollywood science is so shit but I love it so much. If it's on, there has to be something else I really want to see or I am switching over. I always liked the scene in the library where they are deciding what to burn and they say burn the law books first. I also liked it when they are running for the shelter of the fireplace room and the cold is literally freezing the hallway and they slam the doors shut and the cold is instantly stopped and you almost want the cold to say they closed the door on me. In a dismayed voice. Funny part is I can recall scientists commenting on how if the ocean conveyor belt ever shut down it would mostly end life on the planet. Granted that was a good while ago. 30 years or more I think. Waterworld, the movie with Kevin Costner in it. Great flick. Mad Max on water. Seemed like the record-breaking budget always came up as a negative in reviews. Movie ticket was the same price for me, so why should I care how much they spent making it? The Postman is also a great super cheesy mid-90s post-apocalyptic Kevin Costner blockbuster panned by critics but now has a cult following. I'm starting to suspect the guy had a preference. Wild Wild West. You should check out Kevin Smith telling the story about how he almost worked with John Schnepp on Superman Lives, but how Schnepp's insistence on silly shit eventually tanked the movie. Schnepp later moved most of his ideas from Superman Lives into Wild Wild West. Edit, John Peters, not John Schnepp. Okay, let's take the word redneck and break it down. Red, it's the color of passion. Neck, well I got nothing for neck. But you got red. I haven't seen that movie in forever. The remake of The Italian Job, the one with Charlize Theron and Mark Wahlberg, everyone hates it because they prefer the original. I saw the remake first and thought it was a really fun movie. Shrugs. I didn't even know people hated it. That and Ocean's 11 are my top 2 favorite heist films. Kingdom of Heaven. Director's cut is actually straight up great. Hook. What? Hook was a classic. I watched it many times as a kid. I had no idea it had a low rating. Yes. So underrated. I think it was a darker version of the story that people just didn't appreciate. Some of the scenes where you realize the Lost Boys will never grow up and are saying goodbye to their friend who they will never see again because he is going to grow old and die while they stay young is really poignant. The score also brings this aspect into it, and some of the music is genius, one of my favorite John Williams scores. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.